As you know, today was the first day of the informal Home Affairs and Justice meetings. It was Home Affairs and Migration Ministers who were present today in Dublin Castle for the very detailed agenda that we had. We had a full and interesting programme and there was very detailed discussion of the various issues on the agenda. This afternoon, the focus of our discussion was on internal security. We had a very useful exchange of views on the forms of practical cooperation and legal instruments that could tackle the threats that crime poses to economic stability and growth. And many helpful ideas and examples were shared. The Commissioner Maelstrom was with me, detailed some of the new initiatives that are being taken at Commission level during the course of our presidency, and there were discussions about how we can maximise the use of existing legal instruments both at EU level and within national states to combat organised crime, money laundering, to ensure the confiscation of assets of those engaged in criminality, and to ensure that those engaged in white-collar or economic crime don't undermine the economies of the European Union, and that there's a coherent and integrated focus on how we address these issues. The meeting, just prior to our concluding, was given an update on the investigation into the terrible atrocity which occurred in Bulgaria last July, which resulted in the death of 5 Israeli citizens and 1 Bulgarian national. We were given detailed information of the progress being made in that investigation. The nature of the information is confidential to the EU ministers with whom it was discussed. There's been very substantial cooperation with the Bulgarian authorities in the investigation which they're conducting, and I think, in fairness to them, other states were very impressed with the comprehensive information provided in what is a very serious and complex investigation. We also, as I'm sure you would understand, had a discussion on the evolving situation in Algeria. There's been different reports as to what is the current position in relation to the taking of hostages. I'm advised that the Irish hostage is safe. There's been conflicting reports as to the position of other hostages. I don't want to make any comment on their current circumstances. All we can do is hope and pray that all of them, or the vast majority of them, emerge safely from the ordeal that has occurred. We discussed the security implications of the hostage crisis in Algeria and its implications for internal European security in the context of fundamentalist groups targeting individuals in Algeria and the risks that these groups pose within the European Union and European member states. All our thoughts, of course, are with the victims, the remaining hostages and their families, and we hope that there will be clarity as soon as possible on what are their current circumstances. In the morning session, we began with a discussion on some of the ways in which migration policies could foster growth in our economy by attracting people with essential skills and ideas into Europe to fill areas of skills shortages and to create jobs through innovation and investment. Of course, all ministers are very conscious that there is a large unemployment rate within the European Union of what is required to address the domestic European Union economy, to encourage and facilitate the creation of jobs for our existing citizens. But there are also areas of gaps of skills and expertise that can be, from which we require migration into the Union. We looked at how that can be done in an effective way, in a way that makes the Union attractive to those who have particular skills, and how the Union can facilitate those engaged in postgraduate work within the European Union, those emerging from third-level colleges who come from non-EU states and who have particular special skills and interests in research and development, for them to locate how they can be facilitated to locate in Europe, both to create jobs and employment, or indeed to innovate and themselves create businesses. And these are, of course, important issues in the Justice for Growth agenda. And we had a very interesting and creative discussion as to how we should address skill shortages and encourage investment across the European Union. We also had the benefit of a number of very interesting and thought-provoking presentations. The Greek Minister of Public Order and Citizenship Protection, Mr. Dendias, presented the revised action plan on asylum and migration, in which he outlined his plans to introduce a more effective and humane system for addressing the large number of irregular migrants and asylum seekers entering Greece. The plan was widely welcomed by other member states. It is what he described, and I think correctly described, as a living document, because very rapidly circumstances can change in dealing with migration and asylum issues, and it's an issue that we expect to return for further discussion at future meetings. Over a working lunch, the UN High Commissioner for Refugees gave us a very detailed update on the increasingly disturbing situation in the tragedy that's being played out in Syria. There are now 630,000 refugees from Syria. The vast majority of these are located in Turkey and in Jordan and in Iraq. There are somewhere in the region of 25,000 approximately located within the European Union, the majority of them in Sweden and Germany. We discussed what's happening in that conflict, the likely refugee crisis continuing for a period of time as the conflict goes on, the possibility of a substantial increase in the number of refugees, the nature of the supports that the European Union can provide. The European Union has already provided substantial financial support and assistance, the need for a coherent and coordinated approach at European Union level to those who are refugees from Syria who seek either asylum in the European Union or permission to remain by way of other protection measures, and the need to ensure that we recognise the obligations that we have as member states of the European Union. That conversation broadened out also to talk about the security and terrorist aspects of matters taking place in Syria, the concerns that some member states have concerning either their own nationals or individuals who are permanent residents in their states participating in the conflict in Syria. And there was a very detailed discussion on these issues. There's very substantial concern about the continued atrocities being perpetrated in Syria, and concern about the reality that it doesn't appear that within the short term there's going to be a political solution. I think that briefly goes through many of the issues, or indeed all of the issues that were discussed today. As is the case at European Union meetings, issues are discussed at substantial length. I think it was a very valuable meeting. It's a meeting, albeit an informal meeting, that will substantially contribute to the deliberations that are going to take place on home affairs issues during the course of the Irish presidency. And one of the issues that I informed the meeting of is that we will have at the March Council meeting, amongst a broad range of topics that will be discussed, we will have a particular discussion surrounding the security situation in Mali and the Sahel and its implications for European Union states.